Okay, take 5 of this video. I just wanted to spend a couple minutes showing you how I homeschool my children. My oldest 2 are twins, and they are right around kindergarten, first grade level, but doing different curriculums for both phonics and math. And then I also have a young 5s and a toddler who's, of course, always in the background. So with everything happening in the world right now, I know there's lots of people who are trying to do educational activities and find workbooks and resources to use at home with their kids. And I've gotten lots of questions and messages asking me what I do as a homeschooling mom. First and foremost, I want to say I think there's a big difference between homeschooling and crisis schooling, which is what's happening right now. That being said, I still wanted to give you a look at what we use because I think it's great either way for crisis schooling or homeschooling full time, because it's very much, there's my kids in the background, very much student-led and interest-based, which I think is so important for kids to have an invested interest in what they're learning for them to pay attention. Oh look, there they are. All right, I'll turn you around and show you what we have been working on this year. In our homeschool, we've always utilized unit studies as a way of learning, where we can pick a topic that the kids are interested in and then spend 3 or 4 weeks learning just about that topic. Sorry about the noisy toddler. We used Passport to Adventures by the Waldock Way this past year, which utilizes the Magic Treehouse books as its spine, and then each book is its own unit. It's an awesome resource, and I definitely recommend it. But when we finished that, we had to figure out what we wanted to do next. And I have always been really intrigued by the thinking tree and fun schooling. So I spent a few months just really digging into what it is and what it looks like and why it works. So we are now using fun schooling journals and creating our own unit studies. I just want to show you here a second. This is how I create a unit study. As you can see, we're getting ready to do a study on donuts. I was fortunate enough that I had already requested a bunch of books from the library before the library shut down. Okay, honey. So I was able to pick them up. But if you don't, just go search your shelves and maybe find a bunch of books that are about ocean life or zoo animals or something like that. It's not hard to do. So here's our resources we have right now for our donut study. And then each of my kids has a core journal. This is my 5-year-old, and this is one of my almost 7-year-olds, and here's the other one. Each of my kids have their own basket with their journal and a little notebook, coloring pencils, and anything else that they choose to keep in it, really. So these are all considered level A thinking tree journals. They're very similar, but the insides, there is some variation because they have a little bit different themes. I went online and showed my kids the journals that were available to them in their level and just let them pick a cover. So I will take a minute here to flip through one of them for you. Because all 3 of my school-age children are essentially non-readers, I was concerned about how it would look to use thinking tree journals, but it's actually worked really well. We do the unit study together, and while I read out loud to them from our assorted books for our unit, they are able to fill in their journal pages. So the first unit we did, for the girls at least, was about unicorns. And so they drew the covers of the different books we did. And I was not super rigid about what pages they do. I just said, I want you to work on your books while I'm reading. And so these are great. These are dyslexia game puzzles, which is its own program. It's been phenomenal for my struggling reader. Okay, and then here's a few more pages in that same journal. Done. This one was choose 4 books and draw pictures from each book, which that's what's so great about these level A journals, is they don't have to be able to read by themselves. They don't have to be able to write things by themselves. A lot of the prompting is to draw or copy work. Nature study. We did not go outside because I'm pretty sure it was snowing this day, and I don't like getting my toddler all in his snow gear for that. But so they just picked a nature book and drew something out of there to do. Lots of coloring pages. My daughter is obsessed with elephants, if you can't tell. Everything's about elephants in this one. So she practiced drawing some more animals and coloring. she was frustrated by the fact that she couldn't get it, so she just scribbled it. That's okay. So yeah, that's as far as she got. That's as far as we went for that unit. And we read, I don't even know, probably 15 books about unicorns for it. My 5-year-old kind of tagged along for the unicorn study, but he also really wanted to learn about predatory animals, because if it doesn't kill you, what's the point of learning about it? He also doesn't do quite as much, but he's still willing to listen to the books. And to me, that's the only thing that really matters at this stage, is letting me read to him. And I think read out loud is truly the best thing you can do for your kids at any age. So we just really focus on read alouds, and then we do a little bit of phonics and math work also. But so it's cute to draw, and some kids like coloring and drawing more than others. He doesn't love it, but he was willing, and again, that's more important to me than how it looks in the long run. He also, on his own, decided to do some copy work. He wrote colored here. Yeah, that's as far as he got in his, for his, oh, I'm sorry, here's my page. Even these lower level journals do have some math time pages in them. They're not meant to be a math curriculum. It is meant to be practice space for him or your child to, you could tell them to draw shapes on it, or to practice their math if they're doing some early addition and subtraction, or practice writing numbers if they're really just starting out. But it's not meant to be a math curriculum. It's meant to be practice pages. More nature studies, writing time. This would be where you would do some copy work, which I'm sure we'll have them do with our donut unit study. Yeah. And a lot of the times it repeats. This is more of those dyslexia games, puzzles, which is great critical thinking skills. Movie time, where they get to watch a documentary or educational video or movie and then draw or write about what they saw. Practicing writing and a little math time. So yeah, that's the general idea of what this one looks like on the inside. And this is my oldest, also almost 7, fun schooling journal. We did unicorns. She and her sister did it together. She has spent so much time with coloring, which is amazing for her, because there was a time where she refused to even hold a pencil. But after doing her dyslexia games level A, she just blossomed. She's willing to try and write, and actually attempting to do some reading. We're taking it really easy and going at her pace, but drawing, she would refuse. So this is just amazing for her, because there was a time she wouldn't have even tried any of this. She would have just said it was too hard, she can't do it. But she's taking a really big interest in coloring and drawing. And again, I was not super strict about how many pages to do. Just pick a page to work on while I'm reading. So she skipped around, I think, a lot more than her siblings did, which is fine. This is another example of a dyslexia game puzzle. This is kind of fun. Not all of them have this, but I think this is kind of fun to draw a meal plan. Another movie time, emotions. She thinks that these are the funniest pages. I don't know. This one also has some math time practice, which we haven't gotten that far for her. Yeah. Reading time, movie time, book time. So it's nice that you can either pick books off your shelves again, or something from something you're studying, whatever you and your kid want to do. It's very open-ended, which I think is hard for people at first. But when you realize the freedom it gives you and your child to learn what they're interested in, it's awesome to watch them dive in and really learn about those subjects and want to do their school. They ask me every day, when are we doing school? Another meal plan options, and just some coloring, movie time. So they tend to have a little bit of a loop where it repeats the same, like probably 5 or 6 pages, or styles of pages. Yeah. So that's what homeschooling looks like for us. We spend some time together doing our unit study and our thinking tree journals, and then I spend about 10 to 15 minutes on math and language arts with each kid, letting them go at their own pace and using different curriculums to cater to each of their learning styles and abilities. This child. So that's a look at what we do. If you have questions, please let me know, and I'll keep doing more flip throughs of some of the other journals that we do, and I'll show you a little bit of our plan for next year using even more of our Thinking Tree journals.